Okay, our last hot off the press story for this week. And AJ, you've so aptly said that despite a clear direction for phase one in DC, it's still confusing as hell with all of this extra world and side world and what. So you've got the Batman on the side, but you've also got the Joker on the side. Those two are not connected, but yet they're both in the side world. And then you've got this main story running through it, which starts with Superman in 2025. Yes?
Indeed.
No. it's just got
okay.
confusing again. Like I don't understand why they did this. Like, so we're going to talk about Blue Beetle, which I think as an isolated thing has a rather wonderful story. This was a movie that was in the pre-David Zaslav DC running. They were talking about getting rid of altogether, like scrap this movie, it's a dud. Zaslav came in and went, it's all right, put it to streaming, right? From that, they decided it's actually getting quite good feedback when we're doing audience tests with it. Put it on the big screen. So it's had a nice kind of nearly dead to streaming to, okay, give it the big screen treatment, which makes me happy to see Warner Brothers, unlike their stupid predecessors, actually realizing that the money is in the big screen, not in streaming. So nice to see them learning from their mistakes. And now James Gunn has done this interview on the Michael Rosenbaum podcast that has just, maybe you can make some sense of it. It's left me confused as all hell. Here's the story. Let me bring it up now. James Gunn confirms Blue Beetle as the first DCU character. So, Cholo Maridueña's Jamie Reyes will be the first superhero for the rebooted DC universe when it comes to theaters later this year. The Flash effectively ended the DC Extended Universe with the release of his first solo superhero film. Oh, you said his. Damn. With the end of the DCEU, the new look DC Universe gets a new, fresh start with one of the unlikeliest characters. So you agree, at face value, it just sounds like, oh, it's Superman Legacy is not going to be the first movie. Blue Beetle will be, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, it gets complicated. Blue Beetle, not a popular character like Superman or Batman, will debut as the first superhero in the rebooted cinematic universe for DC Studios. James Gunn, co-CEO of the new studio, also clarified which movie will kick off Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. In a recent interview with the Inside of You podcast, Gunn revealed that Jamie Reyes, aka Blue Beetle, will be the DCU's first superhero. He adds that Superman Legacy will be the official start of the new DC universe.
Huh?
Exactly. To quote James Gunn, I mean, the first DCU character for sure is Blue Beetle, and the first full DCU movie is Superman Legacy, Gunn said during the podcast. Gunn and Peter Safran were appointed as co-CEOs of the newly formed DC Studios late last year. Since then, the duo has charted a course towards reimagining the franchise and focusing on telling, quote, the greatest story ever told. Earlier this year, the pair revealed the new look DC universe and the first slate of projects for Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. However, the duo also inherited 4 projects from the past regime that were yet to be released, which were Shazam! Fury of the Gods, which bombed, The Flash, Blue Beetle, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. The Shazam sequel and Ezra Miller's first solo outing as The Flash are both set in the old DC Extended Universe. Both Blue Beetle and the second Aquaman movie are part of the new DC Universe, thanks to The Flash effectively introducing time travel to the DC Universe. Despite not being part of the new slate of movies for the 10-year plan for the DC Universe, Blue Beetle and Aquaman are the first films in the new shared universe. Superman Legacy will be the first full-fledged movie set in the new universe under the watch of Gunn and Safran. And it just goes on basically repeating the same thing. Could you please, for all love and money, try and help me understand? Huh?
I think I've got it. And bear with me on this. First of all, I think when they said his, I think that's Barry Allen as opposed to the actor playing Barry Allen, so that could be his.
Yes, for sure. I'm just being a dick.
That's fine. That's that. What I believe is this film will introduce the character Blue Beetle, and
Yes.
it's Blue Beetle will, with the actor in place, will be the first character installed. However, the film was created before all those involved had a chance to get involved. Hence why it's the first character. But you can't do any tie-ins. However, with Superman coming in, you can now intrinsically make references to Blue Beetle and everybody else in a way, maybe very much like your post-credit of I would like to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative program. Something similar to that says we can now join this into, yes, we are in the same world. You know, it could even be a news reference. Blue Beetle saves the day. You just see Clark Kent looking at that or reporting it because, yes, he's a reporter. He doesn't have to watch it on TV. He has reported sightings of this character. Now they're in the same universe. That's the only way I can kind of put my finger on the pulse. Aquaman 2, which has more interest and much more of a bigger budget, you can now pay with reshoots and delay that in order for it to be like, even though we've inherited it, whatever's done, we can still recast, reshoot. And let's be honest, there was a certain court case that made sure someone definitely didn't come back in that film. So there are ways to play with Aquaman 2, and that is probably the best way I'm going. Is it bold to say that Blue Beetle will be the first one? I think the first Shazam made money. So yeah, it was gonna the first one as well.
The first Shazam, no, the first one.
Yeah, the first one did. So it's not to say that DC are in trouble by saying, oh, here's a character who's not essentially kicking it off, but he's just in the world and you can put all the hype and people will be like, I've not heard of Blue Beetle, but I'll give it a shot, something to take the kids to. It works. So he can be there. And let's be honest, if it doesn't work, yeah, he was introduced in there, but he doesn't have to return. The universe doesn't require him to be there. He could literally be a news story and that was it. That's the last we ever saw or heard of the Blue Beetle. Like, it's not the biggest problem for him. So I believe that's how and what they mean by first character versus first movie.
I mean, look, your explanation certainly makes more sense than what the freaking head of DC has done, which in itself isn't good. But dude, I'm still confused. If you tell me this is the first character in the storyline, you use the Avengers as an example. Iron Man was the first character. Iron Man was the first movie. Iron Man kicked it all off. It was simple and clear. This is the start, right? Now you're telling me this is the first character, but it's not the first movie, but it's a movie with the first character, but the first movie is not in for another 2 years. But this first character who we're introducing you to now is going to be part of that story that's, oh my God, I've gone cross-eyed. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, I have my finger on the pulse with this stuff. You have your finger on the pulse with this stuff. I'm getting googly-eyed about it. And I don't see how your average audience member is meant to keep up with the whole. He's the first character, but the movie he's in is not the first movie. That's the Superman movie. And he may appear as part of that storyline, even though for the course of the next 10 years, we haven't written him in at any point into our story. Like, what the fuck? I'm sorry. Damn it, we're going to get demonetized. I shouldn't have sworn. I hope they don't catch that. But for me, listen, your take's good. I want to know what everyone else thinks. I want to know down in the comment section below. Do you find this super confusing what they're doing with DC at the moment? Are you able to keep up with it? And also, I'd actually like to say I think the Blue Beetle trailers have been really good. So I'm interested to see. They have been good. So I'm genuinely quite curious about it. And with regards to The Flash, please jump over to Instagram right now so you can see my instant out of theater reaction. Spoiler alert.
Oh, it's out. Of course it is. It came out yesterday, right?
It came out yesterday at the time of recording. When you guys watched this, it would have been about 5 days ago. But yeah, dude. It's superb. It's superb. I know. Watch the out of theater reaction. I don't spoil anything, and you can decide if you want to go and see it. You're correct either way. That's the beautiful thing about this.
Yeah, no. Listen. Correct is just a moral compass for me. That's the problem. It's a moral compass for me, but
You can watch it and not review it.
I've still put money towards it. That's the problem. Anyway, we digress.
You're supporting the army of talented people who made it. It wasn't their movie. It was many people's movie.
Yeah. Anyway,
there's no right or wrong here. There is no right or wrong here about what you choose to do with seeing it. But I'll tell you this: it's great. Not good. It's great. Like, it's the most fun I have had this year at the cinema. And bearing in mind the movie I saw before, it was Transformers: Rise of the Beast, which I thoroughly enjoyed. There's your litmus test. Me saying I loved it that much.
Okay.
In a year where a good Transformers movie came out, the most fun I have had this year at the cinema has been The Flash.
Okay.
Run with that how you will.
No pun intended.
Yeah, well done.